Hello all, this is Pastor David LaFour here at Trinity Lutheran Church in Mount Angel, Oregon, and I'm here to wish you all a happy Memorial Day and share some thoughts, some scriptural thoughts, and some personal thoughts on this important day. I must confess that I feel a certain tension when it comes to my faith and to patriotism. To be an American is not synonymous with being a Christian, and vice versa. The Christian story begins way back, way before the old world knew about the new world. And the American story involves many men and women who were not and did not claim to be Christian. And in fact, there is even a tension between these two stories where some values are not shared or certain priorities are different. Yet, I'm both, right? Most likely so are you. And I identify first as a Christian before all things, but to deny my American influence, my American heritage, is to be ignorant of who I am. I vote in church elections. I also vote in American elections. I teach Christian history, but I am myself a product of American history. And more than that, I'm a pastor over a flock of Americans. Sometimes this can be messy. It can cause a messy situation. Sometimes it's hard to tell between one's self or one's community where these two stories, this Christian story and this American story, where they overlap in values and where they diverge in the same. Memorial Day, this day, is a time when I think it is possible, both as an American and as a Christian, to champion the same values. And that is the value of remembering the past and giving thanks for those who built our present. Both of my grandfathers were Christian, and both of my grandfathers were Americans. And they were sailors. Actually, both of them served in the Pacific Theater of World War II. My mother's father, David Schroeder, worked in a radio room on a ship operating the code machines. This right here is a photo of him and his wife, my grandmother, Elena, and this is his very own flag, which I keep in a special case. My father's father, Richard LaFour, was a naval aircraft mechanic. And here, I have two of his Navy Blue Jacket manuals, one from 1943 and one from 1946. And both of these things provided a lot of interesting lessons in reading for myself, especially when I was a teenager and a Boy Scout. If you ever want to know knots or nautical terms or how to navigate the ocean at night using the stars, these books are going to help you greatly, and I love having them. Neither of my grandfathers saw action as far as I know, and honestly, neither were terribly upset about that fact. But what both did do was contribute to the future that they left their children and their children's children, a better world to live in. Memorial Day is a day when we give thanks for past generations. Specifically on this day, we give thanks for those who died while serving their nation. And it is that value, that virtue, which strongly binds, I believe strongly binds who I am as an American and as a Christian. This virtue of self-sacrifice, thinking beyond oneself, thinking even beyond one's time, for the good of generations that you have never met and probably will never meet. This sort of thing, this virtue, is essential for any society or community to carry on and to strengthen and improve. I mean, that's what societies and communities are. They are people who work together for the common good, who have to put aside at least a bit their own selfish desires and put in with each other. Tertullian, a great saint from the church, once said that the church is built on the blood of the martyrs. The church is a gift from Christ, but it's also from all of those who came before us, and it is our responsibility as the now living generation to care for this gift and to pass it on. To pass it on for those that we have yet to meet. And that responsibility is not a light thing. It requires sacrifice. This holiday is a good place to reflect on what we have been given and what we will in turn give, both in terms of our faith and in terms of our nation. I am thankful for those like my grandfather who put in sweat and work into preserving our country. And I am thankful for those who gave their own blood for their friends and for our nation. And I'm thankful when I go out to my church's cemetery for those generations of Christians that I have never met but gave so much to build the community I live in and lead now. If you flip through the scriptures, especially the Old Testament, you're going to find pages dedicated to names and lineages of certain biblical characters. And even two Gospels, Luke and Matthew, start off with these seemingly boring collections of hard-to-pronounce names. But these sections of these names, what they bring to mind, what they're supposed to bring to mind for us, are the ties that bind us together through time. In the same way, when we drive by a cemetery today and you see all of those flags posted next to tombstones, we are reminded of a connection to those that we have never met and yet have contributed so much to our nation, our community. I want to end with a quote from the book of Hebrews. The writer of this book in chapter 11 brings to mind all these stories of the past, all of these people who persevered, who sacrificed, who were often even killed and tortured, but who lived on in hope. And that is a lesson for us on this Memorial Day, to be thankful for those people and to look for that example. And so, from the book of Hebrews, the very first verses of chapter 12. Therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. And to that, I say amen. Have a great Memorial Day, and God bless.